Tales tell of an evil that once descended across the sleepy villages of Terraria, cast forth by a mighty and malicious sorcerer serpent. With it came an age of darkness for the townsfolk, until a warrior, lost to the annals of time, at last slew the dreaded creature. Despite destroying its body though, the evil would live on, and in the people's time of thanks for the riddance of their terrible overlord, the darkness would return to haunt the villagers in an effort to put an end to their gratitude forevermore. Gods had begun. Humanity had all players deep and challenging, different is less likely to get me horribly Hundreds, if not thousands of years before the scourge of cosmic horrors, in Terraria's dark ages, the people of the world lived simple lives, unaware of the future that would befall them, and uncaring of the great civilizations that came before. They tended the fields and made what they could of their limited resources, but in this time other creatures, not known to modern Terraria, dwelt in the Badlands. Strange, powerful, and even intelligent beings, living out their own lives amongst the land no sane Terrarian would tread. There was one, though, who towered above all others in intellect and intent. Hidden in the vast stretches of swampland that weaved about the Badlands, lurked a titanic Hydra, a multi-headed serpent that used its intricate knowledge of the mire to hunt and grow. While other hydras lived within the swamps, none were so successful as this single leviathan, frequently picked off as they were by vicious predators before even reaching maturity. As such, they would not come to learn the potential all hydras held within them. The potential for sentience, an intellect great enough to become capable of self-determination. Maybe it was a fact all creatures of the Badlands were aware of, and actively acted to prevent, for the Hydras were naturally malevolent, oppressive beings convinced of their own superiority, capable of near enough anything to achieve their goals of domination, and as it would transpire, all it would take was one to turn a once peaceful land into an oppressive wasteland. Upon becoming aware of its own existence, the Titan Hydra quickly learned advanced hunting methods, ensuring its continued survival, sought out new challenges to test its intelligence, and cleared the fearsome creatures that prowled the banks of the swamp, so that it may go on living in safety. Doing all this had an unforeseen consequence, however, for it had inadvertently created the ideal conditions for the survival of others of its kind, others who too would feed and grow and learn. Immediately it saw all others as potential rivals, and set to systematically exterminating all of them. Everything it had achieved, it had done alone, and it was not about to let others exploit their efforts just to overthrow them. There would now and forever only be one Hydra, Titan of the Marsh. The ambitions of such a creature would not remain so humble though, and soon enough those ambitions would grow. For now it was the only one of its kind, death would mean extinction, and so it was deemed unacceptable. As such, it embarks on a decade-long quest to learn all it could on life extension, from medicinal plants to fabled growths of life-giving crystals deep within the ground. Finally, its investigations told of mages and other magic users, and brought it to those sleepy villagers, unknowing of the terror that would soon be thrust upon them. The Hydra, believing itself a god above all other forms of life, demanded to learn the ways of magic, in the hopes of learning a spell that would lead to immortality, and anyone who resisted it would kill indiscriminately. Soon enough the Guild of Wizards was uncovered, and in return for ceasing the barbaric killings, they would teach the Hydra all they knew of magic. Even though the serpent would agree, when it began using villagers as its own personal lab rats, there was nothing the mages could do, lest everyone feel the creature's wrath. For years the experiments continued as the Hydra became ever more proficient in the ways of magic, using townfolks as test subjects to burn alive with magical flame, or repeatedly return from the dead in its ongoing efforts to attain eternal life. As always though, an oppressive fist breeds opposition, and soon enough a warrior from a far-off land would arrive to battle the great serpent, and bring freedom for all. The warrior would travel deep into the Badlands, something no one had done in an age, and eventually find the creature wallowing in its mire, surrounded by the rotting bodies of its victims, a master of putrefaction. The warrior would fight long and hard against the foul beast, but every time one of its many heads was severed, another would immediately emerge. In time though, they would gain the upper hand, and battle back the heads enough to land a blow directly on the Hydra's body, piercing deep into its heart, at last bringing an end to the Titan's writhing heads. Upon receiving word that their tormentor was dead, the villagers retrieved its body and brought it back to town. So starving were they from the Hydra's regime that they immediately began tearing off and cooking pieces of the serpent's flesh, giving thanks for their delivery from evil before consuming their oppressor. Every year from that point on, the descendants of the town that suffered from the multi-headed Bane would sacrifice a turkey as a symbol of their victory over the Hydra, and have the Mage Guild enlarge the platter to recreate the feast on the Titan's body. Unbeknown to the townsfolk, however, although not attaining true immortality, the Hydra had managed to preserve its eternal essence, and upon learning how to control its non-corporeal form, a task that took many years, it manifested itself as some innocuous stuffing that would be used as part of a feast, and once the cooked turkey was enlarged, it would transmute the dead bird into an abomination capable of spawning multiple heads just as its original form had. Although the villagers were able to defeat the creature, the damage had already been done. The people would no longer give thanks for their delivery from evil, and the curse of that terrible Hydra would live on. What of the essence that was capable of creating a nightmarish thing such as Turkor, the ungrateful visage of past horrors? Contrary to what some believe, it still lives on, no longer desiring domination or oppression, but ensuring that no one ever gives thanks again, for if they do, then Turkor will return, and this time, those who summoned it may not be able to stop it. Hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and want to support the channel, then please consider subscribing and hit that bell so that YouTube might possibly inform you when a new video comes out. If you want to go that bit further, please feel free to support the channel on Patreon or go and buy some merchandise on Spreadshirt and Teespring. Links are all down in the description. Other than that, have a great day and I'll see you next time.